right. Quick picture. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our amazing panel. I am Belle NFTs. If I've had the pleasure of meeting you, if not, I'd love the opportunity afterwards. I am the co-founder of NFT Girl as well as MiniWhales. You can also catch me hosting If You Know, You Know, as well as IP is Dead on NFT Now. I would love to pass everybody the microphone for a quick introduction, and then we'll start the discussion. Rebecca, you go first.
Hi.
I don't think so.
Testing. Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Rose. I'm a collage artist in the NFT scene, and just recently inscribed my collage work on ordinals earlier in 2024. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be here. Thank you, Belle.
Bryan, how about you?
Hi, I'm Bryan Brinkman. I'm a mixed media digital artist. I love to use animation. I've been in the space for a few years, but I'm excited in January to do my first ordinal drop.
Yeah, I just have to say, by the way, I'm very excited about your drop, and I really loved your drop, so just had to make note of that. I'm Nick. I'm co-founder of Gamma.io. We're putting on this event with Nulcha Shows and Inscribing Atlantis today. Really thrilled that you guys are all here and excited to chat about this great topic.
Is this thing on? Oh, it is. I'm Stephen Miller. I am not Nick Sainato, as much as everybody online likes to think I am. I am a curator, and I am a strategic advisor for artists and collectors.
All right, thank you, each of you, for joining us today. I'm one of those people that really admires everything that you're doing in the space, and today we're going to be talking about the art of collecting, starting, curating, growing your collector base, right? I'd love to hear from maybe Bryan and Rebecca about your experiences in marrying both the physical as well as the digital world. How do you curate a collector experience that is both great on both sides?
Do you want to take this one first?
Sh-
Do you want to take it first? Okay,
yeah.
I'll go. That's a really good question. So prior to creating digital art, I showed in traditional art galleries for about 20 years. And I wanted to bring some of what I learned in that experience over to the digital sphere. And finding like a community of people that support both what the concept is of like digital artwork, but also like pairing it with physical artworks, I think is important because when we're off our phone screen, we still are existing in the physical space, and to have art on the walls. Sorry about the hum. I don't know how to fix it. But essentially, we live with art, especially when we're not on our phone screens.
No, that's great.
There's a hum, sorry.
Can use this.
Okay. Thank you. But yeah, and the way that I use that and harness that experience to the collectors that I found in the digital sphere now is that Bryan actually is one of my collectors. I'm very happy for that. Like we have like in-person events. Like we've gone to Art Basel before. I've taken him around to art fairs, and having that physical in-person connection is really important when fostering a community that will support your work.
Yeah, I would say when I think about physical work, I mean, I'm a digital first artist, so to me the physicals are almost always in my mind merchandise to bring people back to the digital. And so whether it's selling like this hoodie that was with Super Rare, it then brought people back to my Super Rare work. Or if I did a drop with the Iconic Moments with Norman Rockwell's estate last month, that you could buy the digital NFT edition, and then there was an optional choice to claim the physical print. And I would say about 50% of the NFT holders got the physical print. And for me, when you have a physical version of the art in your house, you're much more likely to hold on to it and develop a emotional attachment to it and not sell the NFT. So for artists, getting that reminder does a lot to kind of help solidify that connection because it just becomes a part of their lifestyle. And and in the same degree when I go to these conventions, I don't have any with me this time, but pins and stickers and all those type of little things are all parts of our merchandising that help market us to all these people.
The marketing aspect of it in the digital world is incredibly important, right? One of the main discussions that I have with artists is how hard it is that once they come into Web3 and they come into the digital world, now it's no longer the art of just creating the pieces. Now it's marketing oneself. Now it's reaching out to people. Now it's finding your collectors, right? And putting on that marketing hat on. How different is it, or how difficult is it from when you're blending both of the worlds to be able to put on all of those multiple hats on any given day? And Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is such an important aspect. My background's in digital marketing and paid media, so this is something that I really try to, help creators on Gamma and anyone who I see on socials just kind of take advantage of the tools that are available. A lot of them aren't even paid things. They're things that anyone just, kind of needs to recognize the value of them and take advantage of them. So, one thing I always say, for example, and I know this is slightly contentious because there's a few artists who, feel one way or another about this, but include a link in every single thing that you post on social media. Like, there should be 0 posts ever that do not have a link in the first reply. And you'll be told the algo will hurt you if you put it in the first tweet, for example. That's a good point, but that first reply, that's where you should have it. And I think, in the marketing world, you can think of everything as a funnel. And so you start at the top, and you might have, the world as your audience, and then you have the people that are interested in art as, a subset. And you have all of the stages in the funnel where, 99% of people drop off. And even if you have the algo that works against you when you include a link, well, I can tell you this: if you don't include a link, 100% of people are going to drop off. So it's better to take a 50% hit on the algo and get 1% of those people to actually get your link and be able to see your work and have a chance to buy it. So that's one thing that I always push people on. But really just being proactive, posting a lot, like that's how you become prolific. Like don't be afraid of oversharing or anything like that. I think the more you put yourself out there, whether it be like you guys were talking about in the IRL and being at events and fairs, or posting or joining spaces, allow people to learn who you are and connect with you.
Speaking of spaces, Stephen, you run one of the most successful, lovely, times to listen to spaces dedicated 100% to art. How important is the storytelling aspect as it relates to artists on your spaces?
So, the easy answer is it's everything, right? The way that we tell these stories and the way that we convey what is behind the artwork is how it actually builds resonance. But to go off of what Nick was saying, and I think it's a really important line to connect, is that without story, those marketing connections and the way that you're actually pushing content out there, it misses at least 3 to 5 times more than it would if you actually had story involved and you are telling something that needs to be heard, right? Both Bryan and Rebecca, you guys have phenomenal storytelling capability in the work that you do, and that sings through. But I think as artists mature, that storytelling needs to also develop. So it's about challenging the story that you're telling so that you become better over time, right? It doesn't happen immediately. So that's, to me, why storytelling really is it's everything.
That's a great answer. Rebecca, you incorporate a lot of collaborations across the board on everything that you do, and I've heard you many a times go onto spaces and share information on how other artists can collaborate and find other people to do business with, right, or to collaborate with. Expand on that. Tell us a little bit about your perspective on that and how important it is. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, it's super important for artists to think outside their bubble, and I think that all of us kind of fall into our own bubble a little too much, and because it's comfortable. So I try to go through copious amounts of open calls and artist opportunities, and it does take time to find like the valid opportunities with substance. But I do share that knowledge with other artists in the space, because a lot of artists don't know where to start with that. They don't know which grants to go for, or what's even outside of our bubble. So I definitely love sharing that. It's a great way to build community and to kind of spread that wealth of knowledge, and to actually tie into marketing, what you were talking about earlier. Like, yeah, when artists are marketing, like, it's important that they, reach out to people that they know enjoy their work, because you'd be surprised how many people want to help each other out in this space, which is one of the things that I'm sure we all love about being here. But also, like, people within your your past networking as well. Like, for an example, on the ride here, I reached out to one of the foundations that I worked with previously and let them know of upcoming events or exhibitions that my work is in, so that they could spread it out in their newsletter. So, like, thinking outside of the box beyond social media is really gonna help artists. But yeah, to go back to your original question, I think it's super important that more artists know that there's a copious amount of artist opportunities available to further your career and to add, carve away many more facets on the diamond that is your body of work and your artist career long term.
Thank you. Nick, Gamma has done an incredible job of gathering artists and paving perhaps an ambiance for them to be able to collaborate as well, right? Of providing that infrastructure. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this has been a huge focus for us, especially, as ordinals have been becoming, both more popular and more accessible through tooling from ourselves and, dozens of other companies that have been focusing on making that user experience easier for artists. It's just what we've talked about so far. It's like artists, they need to be attending events, they need to be, marketing their work, selling their work, connecting with people, and managing those relationships. And that's, leaving very little time to actually do what they do best, and, why they're even here. So if we can, take little aspects of that off their plate and make that easier for them, or, allow them to do that in a lot less time than it would otherwise take them. That's really been a focus over the last couple of years, and I think one thing that particularly relates to this topic in that area is we have what we call the Gamma Partner Program, and we actually have some partners here on stage. But there's I think, like, curation in general, one of the great things that it does is really shines a light on some work. If everything is featured, then nothing is featured. And so, while we would love to be able to feature every single artist, we really want to, kind of put some additional resources behind artists who are showing up every day, creating really special work, and then give them, like, additional support and resources. So at events like this one, having their work up on display so people can see it, on the big screen and become, enthralled by it, and then give them a follow and keep up with them after the event, or, having just different access to physical things that we do. Like, for example, we did both a physical prints book and a deck of cards where each card had a unique artwork on it. So just things like that, and we have plenty more ideas in the pipeline for that, where, an individual artist, they're not, on that, all the hats they wear. They're not also a publisher and a supply chain specialist and all of that. So if we can, handle those aspects of it and allow them to be, a really special part of that, that's just, that's our job, and we're honored to be able to do it.
Awesome. Well, you guys are killing it, so kudos to you and to the team. I want to pivot a little bit to ordinals, which is why we are here today, right? And I want to tie it into the community interaction and the feedback that we were just talking about, how you build your community and how you bring in the physical and the digital. How do you also manage to introduce them to a concept like ordinals, and that they feel fuzzy and warm and welcome to be able to do that? How does the feedback from your collectors impact how you make those decisions? Starting with inscribing something on ordinals. And Brian, I'd love to go to you for that.
Yeah, well, is this working? Hey, testing. Yeah, I would say there's a mix between collectors. Some collectors are ETH maxis. Some of them will even say, like, I won't buy anything on an L2. I'm only mainnet. And so you're always going to be dividing your collector base a little bit when you try a new thing. But I do think it's important to try a new thing, whether it is like an L2 to save gas money or it is an ordinal because you want to take advantage of the technical aspects that you can't play with otherwise. So the benefit of it is when you go to these new chains and platforms and all these other things, you're bringing in new collectors into the mix that are coming that would never have seen you because they're only ordinals collectors. And so I think that's always an interesting thing. And there's ways that I haven't minted haven't inscribed my pieces publicly yet, but over the past year I've started working with different ordinal projects to offer like allow lists to my collectors to get them like integrated into the systems little by little. So I think there's ways that you can bridge your community over to the new thing without necessarily like forcing them, but encouraging them in that way.
Rebecca, how do you avoid keeping them siloed when you do that?
I think to avoid keeping them siloed, having a series that spans across multiple chains. So I have a black and white collage series that actually goes from Solana to ETH to ordinals, and collectors of the series have actually followed to the different chains. So I think if artists think ahead in those terms, that a series can be like an ongoing, living, breathing body of work that as you experiment on different chains and different layers, that you can just bring that over and people will naturally, follow that as well.
I love that because you're weaving them and you're kind of leading the way for them to be able to do that. That's really great. Stephen and Nick, I'd love your perspective of having witnessed success for a lot of Ethereum, or maybe even traditional artists coming in from other aspects and then having success, not just as an artist on ordinal ecosystem, but also with their collectors, still continuing to foster those relationships and maybe even strengthen that community. Both of you have sat at, front and center, and I'd love to, from your perspective, what have been those key things that created that success? Stephen, we'll go with you.
So it's really interesting because I think that we're still in the fresh water for it. We haven't seen some like refined formula for how that conversion even occurs. And that's a really incredible thing because it means that you can experiment at a much higher level, right? You can continue to challenge what has worked and what hasn't. But after sitting with a number of different artists and also Nick in the backyard of, where he stayed in Marfa, one of the things that kind of really clicked into place for me and across the last couple of weeks goes back to this word of coexistence. We really do need to shift that narrative because the fact that we have so much chain maximalism is really starting to get to the point where like it's dividing the collector further from being able to have that bridge. So what works? The answer is breaking out of the actual shell of what you think works. So that's where my mind kind of sits with it, but I would encourage any artist out there to think about how they can start preaching coexistence within their own collector communities, because that's honestly going to make for a much more vibrant ecosystem across the board.
That's great. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is, there's a lot of aspects to this. I think something Stephen said earlier was this storytelling aspect, and I think like that's definitely one of the things that, just from personal experience, anecdotally, I think has been a big separator for a lot of artists who see, you know, larger success. I think you're totally right. It's not one size fits all at all, and there's a lot of I don't want to say luck in the sense that the art isn't special otherwise, but I think there's some luck to, you know, like what winds up resonating with a large audience. But I think that's kind of a beautiful thing in some ways because, you know, you could be someone who isn't well known or doesn't have a huge collector base, and you put something out there that you really spend the time to, you know, craft that story around and sort of, you know, just share what's in your heart and in your head, and hopefully it resonates with people. And I think that when you're genuine and you put yourself out there, like it has a really good chance of sticking. So yeah, I wish I had like you know, like the trick to be successful, but I think it's more just like patterns that you see, and I think there are very few artists who are, you know, reach very high levels of success that haven't put, you know, their blood, sweat, and tears into it. So just like keep grinding, keep pushing forward, and you know, like I really think it, you know, your moment will come.
One of my greatest pleasures of being able to host spaces when I've had artists on is that inevitably, it's happened multiple times, that they gain a new collector having showed zero amount of artwork. And the feedback that I receive as a host has always been like, Belle, I have to thank you because for the first time I heard, you know, so-and-so speak, and I fell in love with them, and I just thought, man, I resonate with their message, I resonate with their person, I resonate with their soul, and I haven't even seen the art, and I don't need to see it because I already know that it's me. And so they go off and they buy it. That wasn't the objective, but when you have that emotional connectedness, you know, that's, it's a lot greater than us, right, together. And so it's been one of the greatest pleasures of hosting spaces to see that happen. It's been amazing. It's been amazing as well to have you on this panel. I think we're gonna be wrapping it up, but listen, talking about allowing other people to get to know you as an artist and falling in love with you first before your art. Rebecca, how can we further fall in love with you and continue to support you?
Well, I don't know about falling in love with me because that guy already did, so I'll take it. No, I'm kidding. Gosh, I mean, as much as we're inundated with numbers, like across crypto land, like we're not numbers, we're people. So I think like connecting with each other on a human level is first and foremost. So, I mean, I'm always down to talk about crazy cautionary tales that, you know, in artwork. So if you're into that stuff, come see me. But yeah, I guess coming up, do you want to? Yeah. So coming up, I currently have a cautionary tale animation on Christie's in their next wave sale. Thanks. So does he. And yeah, it's you know, just communicating storytelling to each other, I think, is really important in art. There was a really great quote that I saw, a clip of David Bowie speaking about this morning before coming here, and he said a lot of artists will, you know, they talk more about the process of a piece and not enough about what it means and what it means to them as the artist, but also how it, you know, what it can mean to others as the viewer. So I think like connecting with each other on that level is first and foremost. But thank you for hosting.
And what's your handle? Give them the link.
My handle? About it.
Oh. That's right, my link. It's https:// you can find me at Rebecca Rose NFT across the major socials, but I'm at Rebecca Rose at like Farcaster and Blue Sky and all the newer socials.
Thank you, Rebecca. Bryan, how about you? You have a lot of exciting things going on.
Oh,
Share that
yeah.
with us, and how can we continue to support you?
It's a busy month. Well, if anybody wants to follow me, it's at my name, Brian Brinkman. And yeah, currently, me and Rebecca are both in this Christie's auction that will end on the 17th, which I'm excited about, a new one of one. And next week I'm doing a drop with LG Lab Art, which will be an edition of 100. And I'm excited about that. And then in January, I'm going to do my Ordinals drop, which I'm working with Asura and the On-Chain Monkey team. And I'm really excited because it plays with some fun things with recursion and ties in some of my past animation styles. And so that'll be a series of 30 one-of-ones that all connect to each other. So that'll be fun.
Very cool. Nick, how about you?
I mean, I would just give another shill to them. Go give them a follow, and also on you know, you can follow myself at my name or Gamma at Try Gamma. One of the things that we have at Gamma, we have a list of all of our partner artists. You can follow that list and kind of keep up to date with everybody in the partner program. These are a lot of the top artists creating on Bitcoin, and it's a great way to, you know, kind of have like a feed that you don't have to think about, you know, who is all involved and are they a scammer or something. You know, you can just keep up with that and know that we've you know, highlighted some special artists creating.
Nice, thank you. And last but not least, Steven.
So again, follow your favorite artists. That's my call to action for you. I don't need to post a link. But if you wanted to connect with me, I'm more than happy to give out my card. You can find me right over there after we're off this. But one of the things that I do at every single show is I curate out the backs of my cards to artists in our ecosystem. So you can basically find and discover a brand new artist that you may have not yet found. So if you really are here for the art, which I imagine a lot of you are, please do feel free to come and find me. I would love to be able to share somebody else's work with you. So.
Thank you guys, and you can follow me at Belle_NFTs. And if you are an artist that wants to recommend someone else to be highlighted on my show, hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you everybody for showing up.